Hi everyone, in this video, you will learn about JavaScript const keyword. With const, the value of a variable cannot be reassigned once it is set. This code declares a constant x with the value 10. When we try to reassign x to 20, JavaScript throws an error because x is a constant and cannot be changed. A variable declared with const must be assigned a value at the time of declaration. For example, here x is assigned the value 10 immediately. If you try to declare const x without a value like this, it will cause a syntax error. When to use. Use const in JavaScript when you are certain that the variable's value should remain constant and not be reassigned. You should use const when declaring a new array, object, function, or regular expression regex. Constant objects and arrays. The const keyword creates a constant reference to a value, but it does not make the value itself immutable. What you cannot do with const. Reassign a constant value, reassign a constant array. Or reassign a constant object. What you can do with const. Modify the elements of a constant array. Or change the properties of a constant object. Constant arrays. You can modify the elements of a constant array. In this code, we create a constant array called fruits. We change the first element to mango, and add orange to the end, as you can see in this output. This works because the reference stays the same, we are only changing its contents. You cannot reassign the entire array. Here, we're trying to reassign fruits to a new array, which causes an error because fruits is a constant reference. Constant objects. You can modify the properties of a constant object. In this example, we declare a constant object fruit. We change the color property to red and add a new property called season. This works because the object's reference stays the same. You cannot reassign the entire object. Here, we're trying to reassign fruit to a completely new object. This throws an error because the fruit reference is constant. Block scope. Declaring a variable with const behaves like let in terms of block scope. In this example, this y declared within the block is entirely separate from this y declared outside the block. Redeclaring. Redeclaring an existing var or let variable to const in the same scope will result in an error because const variables must be unique and cannot share the same name within the same block or function scope. In this code, we first declare x using let with a value of 10. Then, we try to redeclare x as a const with a value of 20, which causes an error because you can't declare two variables with the same name in the same scope. The same thing happens with y. We declare y with var, then try to redeclare it with const. This is not allowed, so JavaScript throws an error. Reassigning an existing const variable within the same scope is not allowed, because const variables are immutable in terms of reassignment. Once declared, the variable cannot be assigned a new value. Here, we declare x as const with a value of 10. When we try to reassign x to 20, JavaScript throws an error because const variables are immutable for reassignment. Redeclaring a variable with const in another scope or block is allowed because const variables are block scoped. In this code, we declare x inside two different blocks. Each x only exists inside its own block, so there's no conflict. Hoisting. Variables defined with const are hoisted to the top of their block like let variables, but they are not initialized. Attempting to access or use a const variable before its declaration will result in a reference error. In this code, we try to log fruit name before declaring it with const. JavaScript throws an error because const variables are not initialized until the declaration is reached. This was all about JavaScript const keywords. Please check the video description for more information. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tutorial videos.